Washington Pod presents EARL Nightingale.
Staying with our plans, despite repeated setbacks, tends to build inner character, just as it draws maturity on our faces. Then there's the story I came across about Sparky. School was all but impossible for Sparky. He failed every subject in the 8th grade. He flunked physics in high school. Receiving a flat 0 in the course, he distinguished himself as the worst physics student in the school's history. He also flunked Latin and algebra and English. He didn't do much better in sports, although he did manage to make the school golf team. And then he promptly lost the only important match of the year. There was a consolation match. He lost that, too. Throughout his youth, Sparky was awkward socially. He was not actually disliked by the other students. No one cared that much. He was astonished if a classmate ever said hello to him outside school hours. No way to tell how he might have done at dating in high school. Sparky never once asked a girl out. He was too afraid of being turned down. Sparky was a loser. He, his classmates, everyone knew it. So he rolled with it. Sparky made up his mind early in life that if things were meant to work out, they would. Otherwise, he'd content himself with what appeared to be his inevitable mediocrity. But there was one thing that was important to Sparky: drawing. He was proud of his own artwork. Of course, no one else appreciated it. In his senior year of high school, he submitted some cartoons to the editors of his class yearbook. They were turned down. Despite this particularly painful rejection, Sparky was so convinced of his ability, he decided to be a professional artist. Upon graduating from high school, he wrote a letter to Walt Disney Studios. He was told to send some samples of his artwork, and the subject matter for a cartoon was suggested. Sparky drew the proposed cartoon. He spent a great deal of time on it, and other drawings. Finally, the reply from Disney Studios came. He was rejected once again. Another loss for the loser. So Sparky wrote his own autobiography in cartoons. He described his childhood self, the little boy loser and chronic underachiever, in a cartoon character that would soon become famous all over the world. For Sparky, the boy who failed every subject in the 8th grade and whose work was rejected again and again, was Charles Monroe Schultz. He created the Peanuts comic strip, and the little cartoon boy whose kite would never fly, and who never succeeded in kicking the football, Charlie Brown. Perseverance. Nothing can take its place. There's a place for every person who will persevere. There is a large success lurking in everything we do. And it's not just our success we're talking about. Millions of people, large and very small, have been cheered and have seen themselves in Charlie Brown. There's a Lucy who will snatch that football away in every neighborhood. She's a good girl, really. She just loves to frustrate Charlie Brown. Charles Schultz succeeded beyond his most sanguine imagination and earned and deserved that success. Perhaps he failed at everything else he tried because his talent and humor were so complete, so wonderfully successful, when he finally found what it was he was supposed to do.